think there's got to be somebody in here. Maybe we go around the side door here. The Highway Patrol of Arizona is closed. Where? Hello? There's no way. There's no way it's closed. There's simply no way. We will never forget Officer Chris Moreno. Officer Chris Moreno. So remind me to look up Officer Chris Moreno. There has to be a way to file this complaint here with the Arizona Highway Patrol. Hey, how you doing today, officer? I was just trying to, sorry for screaming. I was trying to file a complaint. Is this where I can file a complaint?
Well, you can. What kind of complaint?
Do you have a form I can just take and fill out?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
I mean, I can give a complaint to an officer if you'd like. I just didn't want to.
What kind of, is it a complaint about an officer? Or
Yeah, it's a complaint about an officer. It's this, I ran into this officer yesterday, and he seemed nice at first, and then he decided that I asked him for his name and badge number. So, I'm a constitutional law expert. I teach constitutional law, and I just explained to him that the rule of law is that he has to show tell me his badge number. That's his policy, right? So it's like, I told him if he didn't just tell me, I would have let it go, but I told him if he didn't tell me his badge number, that I would file a complaint.
Okay.
And it's like,
so like a traffic stop.
Yeah, it was on a traffic stop. But it's just one step from tyranny if we don't know who the police officer is.
Yeah, let me. If you give me a second, let me get
Sure.
your information. I'll be right back. But this isn't really an open lobby. But if you want to hang here, I'll be right back.
I can't sit in the lobby.
It's not really a lobby. It's like storage stuff here. We don't. It's not one we use. But if you
guys are working outside.
Yeah, I just was getting something out of my car, and somebody said somebody was knocking on the door. So.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks
If
for
you give me a
coming
second, I'll be right
out. Sure,
back.
appreciate it. So this is that's the gentleman badge ID policy here. This will give us a second here, and I will kind of rattle off a couple things for you guys that are really important that you understand as to the reason why I'm filing this complaint. And it's really important that you guys understand why I'm filing the complaint. Because on this complaint, what I wrote here is there's two kinds of systems. There's several kinds of systems. However, the ones that we're talking about today are rule of law versus anarchy, right? So if you look on this piece of paper here, it says rule of law and anarchy on the top. And so what anarchy is a state of disorder due to absence or non-recognition of authority. Now, if you read Thomas Hobbes or you read Jean-Jacques Rousseau's Social Contract, you understand that not recognizing authority would mean that you live outside of a social contract. And so if you live outside of a social contract, then what happens is your mother, your brother, your sister, your lover, your best friend can get attacked and beat up by anybody, and that's a system that's of disorder. That's anarchy. Now, rule of law is a principle of governance in which all persons, institutions, and entities, public and private, including the state itself, are accountable to laws that are publicly promulgated, equally enforced, and independently adjudicated, and which are consistent with the international human rights principles. You see, so the reason why I come down to file a complaint against the officer who didn't give me his badge the other day is because we have to live within a rule of law, and there's a very important point here. It says, including the state itself. Rule of law is a governance which all persons, institutions, and entities, public and private, including the state itself, are accountable. Including the state itself. So the representation of the state is the Arizona Highway Patrol. So when that guy didn't show me his badge and give me his badge number yesterday, you have to go by the rule of law. The rule of law. We live under a system called the rule of law. if you don't understand what I'm trying to say, let me make it very, very clear to you. A lot of people have chimed in and said, hey, don't show them your ID when you're traveling down the road. You're not using your vehicle in commerce. You know, I read all you guys' comments. I spend a lot of time listening to what people say, learning new information. If you don't show your identification and you're driving in a vehicle, there's a good chance you're gonna go to jail if you wanna take the ride. So, you know, whether we like it or not, every single country in the world, from China to Spain to Portugal to France to Germany to Europe to Austria, every single country in the world lives under a social contract. That's why I always talk about Thomas Hobbes and Jean-Jacques Rousseau's social contract. Because it is absolutely imperative that you understand that you live in a country that is based on rule of law. You live in a country, and if you haven't looked up what ROL is, it's rule of law. So what is the opposite of rule of law? WROL, without rule of law. You can look it up. Put it into your search bar. Look it up. Rule of law without rule of law. What is Mexico? Mexico is without rule of law. I love Mexico, one of my favorite places to go. But Mexico is without rule of law. You have to understand the difference between rule of law and without rule of law. They are extraordinarily deep. They are deep and they are vast. Me personally, in case you guys didn't know, I'm a rule of law kind of guy. I'm 100% for having authority figures who make sure that rule of law is enforced and upheld. I'm rule of law all the way. I'm 100% for rule of law. You can't even get me to budge on it. I'm 100% for rule of law. I believe in the rule of law. However, rule of law here, when it's defined properly, says rule of law is a principle of governance in which all persons, institutions, and entities, public and private, including the state itself, which is a police officer representing the state, are accountable to laws. And is that what's happening in our rule of law in America? No, it's not. That's not what's happening in America. What's happening in America is the police have decided that they're the ones who don't have to follow rule of law. They make simple policies. If that guy had simply given me his name and badge number, this whole thing would be over and I wouldn't be down at the Arizona Highway Patrol on a wonderful, beautiful afternoon when it's so nice outside. I wouldn't be actually down here to file a complaint against this man who failed to ID himself and actually follow through. And if nothing is done, I'll file a lawsuit against this police organization. Because everybody's subjected to rule of law. That's why when people chime in on my page and they say, hey, you know, you don't have to show them your driver's license when you drive down the road. My friend, I think you should have to show your driver's license when you drive down the road. I don't think people should be pulled over for the things that they get pulled over for, but you want a standard on the road. You want a standard. You don't want a police state, prison state where there's cops every 20 feet. They're no longer allowing anybody in the lobby of the Arizona Highway Patrol. So, but listen, you know, you guys got to get this too. You know, for a long time, you've been going along and you've been listening to people, right, who don't have a basis or understanding of the Constitution and America. You've been listening to people who are good people. There's a lot of good people on YouTube. There's a lot of good people who are influencers on Twitter and on TikTok. But what they're not teaching you is the social contract that you're born into. You're born into a social contract. And our social contract in America is based on rule of law. You have to understand that. You have to get it. So now the problem with America right now is the rule of law. The state actors, including the state itself that are accountable to laws, they're being cut out. They're sovereign citizens. They're sovereign. They're above the rule of law. The guy couldn't even follow his simple policy of having to identify himself, name and badge number. And now, because this is my role in this life, I'm down here to file a complaint, which is what I should do. Hey, how you guys doing?
Not too bad. Sergeant Drake?
Sergeant Drake?
Yes.
Sergeant Gephardt? How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. What can we do for you?
Well, this gentleman here, I just saw him on the street yesterday,
Okay.
and I asked him to give me his name and badge number, and then he decided he didn't want to do that.
Okay.
And so I looked up your policy, and he's supposed to show me his name and badge. Matter of fact, you guys even have a couple pages here where you guys talk about the badge patch and how proud you guys are of having the badge patch. Here, the shoulder patch, and you go into great detail about what. Right. So if you look at the bottom of this, it says rule of law. This is when the state itself is accountable to laws. And so the reason why I'm here now is because this man has to be held accountable to rule of law.
Okay.
Even your own policies, for the public.
So what would the outcome? What are you looking for today? What would you like us
I want
to
to
do
file a
help?
complaint against this gentleman for
Okay.
not showing me his ID. And then I'd like to know what the appropriate actions are going to be where he's disciplined for not following the rules. Because let me just tell you, if I don't follow the rules right now with you two gentlemen, what happens to me?
Well, we all have to follow.
What happens? Look how burly these guys are. I'm tough as nails. You guys know that. Look at this guy, dude. He's a freight train.
So
If I don't follow the rules, you guys will taser me, beat me, kick me.
We're not going to go down that road, okay? But what we can do, if that's something that you wish to do, we can absolutely get you the information to do a complaint expense form.
Okay.
We can fill that out, and we can formally send that to our internal investigations unit.
Yeah.
And they will open an investigation.
Is there a follow-up process on that?
Yes, so basically they will get assigned to a sergeant, and then they will do all the investigation or send it to a sergeant like myself or a sergeant.
Okay.
And they will look into it, and then they'll do the full interview and everything.
I told him if he just gives me his name and badge number, this is over right here, right now.
Okay.
And all he had to do was to say, my name is Sergeant Drake? Is that
Yes,
right? Sergeant Drake, and I'm with the Arizona Highway Patrol. Amazing, brother.
Yeah.
Amazing. When you guys ask me to ID myself, I say, hey, my name's Chille. I'm from Delete Laws. How you doing?
Yeah, not a hard process, but
Then you know who I am. You know my name. Now at least we can be cordial and decent to one another. Before the tyranny begins.
Is that something that you would want us to send to you?
Yeah. You want to email it to me? Or do you want to
Absolutely.
send it to me? Or
You
you just
know
want to
what?
write down the information?
I want to write down an email address that you would like it sent to, and I can get that taken care of.
Sure. I'll put this here.
Here you go, sir.
Yeah, this one's for you anyway. So
I have this one. Do you want to write it on one
no,
that we
just
got
write it
to
here. Listen, I gave it to you guys because I want you guys to understand that there is a rule of law system in America. We all have to follow the rule. A lot of people are like sovereign citizens where they'll go, you don't have to show your ID when you get pulled over because you're not traveling in commerce. No, we live in America. You gotta show your ID to the cop when you get pulled over, even if he's wrong. Even if you're wrong, you still gotta show your ID to the cop.
Sure.
That's how it has to go.
Sure.
That's the rule of law. I don't like it. It's true, right? So it's pretty easy. It's delete laws
Okay.
at Gmail.
Do you want to write your name on there so I know who I'm talking to?
Sure. My name is Chille De Castro.
Awesome. I appreciate that, sir.
Yep. No problem, dude. Yeah, because if I'm gonna file a complaint, I have to go on the record anyway, because he has a Sixth Amendment right to face his accuser.
Right.
Anybody who's accusing you of something, of breaking a law, you have a right to face that accuser. He has the same rights that I do, and I respect those rights.
I appreciate that, and I'm more than happy to accommodate you in any way that you're asking, so I'll make sure I get right on that.
How long does that take? You're gonna email me that?
I can
form
do
today?
that as soon as I go back to
I
my
can't fill it out just right here. I can sit.
If I print one out, I can do that.
Yeah, I'll do it right here, right now.
Let me go get that printed out for you. That way we
Thanks.
can get you squared away. Okay.
Appreciate you guys.
You got it.
Appreciate you. Thanks. So there's no reason to be rude to cops. Listen, you guys saw me go off on those cops, and when they were sitting in their car in L.A. George Floyd had just been killed, and I was out. That was May 25th. I think I saw those cops in June. On the side of the road, and I was angry. I was upset at all police. The backlash of being kettlebelled in protests, was horrific. It was horrific. Watching cops kettlebell people to arrest them was horrible. But when you go down and you file a complaint here at the police station, right? Look, you don't have to show your disdain for this so-called occupation, to people who you have to work with. I'll give you a good example. People on the left calling people on the right racist. There's only been 5 executives in the history of America. 5 executives who were black. One of them was Obama. The other 4 were governors. Who signs legislation in America? Executives. the governor, the executive. That's who signs legislation in the United States of America. So as long as you continue to call the right racist, you're going to have major problems getting legislation passed to get rid of racist laws. My cousin told me the other day, he said, dude, you could say you're a staunch conservative or a raging liberal, and either side would believe it. No, I'm in the middle. I'm for truth, I'm for justice, I'm for transparency, I'm for rule of law. When I get pulled over by the cops, I gotta show them my ID. Now, if they pretextually stop me, you may see me resist that. You might see me resist a pretextual stop identification if I know I didn't break any traffic laws. But even still, you're then giving the judge a reason to say, you got pulled over, you didn't show your ID, you did something wrong. And judges have absolute immunity. Judges have absolute immunity. So be very, very careful when you get in front of a judge. When you get in front of a judge. Listen, I just saw one comment roll by and he said, no, you don't have to show your ID. Okay, listen, you're welcome to do that. You're welcome to do that. I'm not gonna coach people not to show your identification. I'm not gonna give my personal perspective on the Constitution and the laws and say you should not have to give your identification. You see, I'm not going to do that to people because they don't have the same wherewithal that I do. They don't have the same resources. They don't have the same constitutional understanding. And you're going to get in front of a judge or a magistrate or even someone who's working as a judge, someone from the state bar, and you're going to say things and they're going to go, dude, I'm sorry, it doesn't compute, dismiss, you know, and so you're going to get yourself in trouble. And I'm not going to tell people to get themselves in trouble. I may not like the current police state that we live in, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give you stupid information and say, you don't have to show your ID when you get pulled over. You do. You do. I was pulled over for running a stoplight at a closed road. I gave the cop my ID. It took a second for me to get the tape off of it, but I showed the cop my ID. So these guys here, as long as they're respectful and nice to me, I'll be respectful and nice back. So I just wanted you guys to know the reason why I was so harsh on those cops in LA in the summer of 2020 was because I was angry. I was angry. I was angry. You know, I don't typically walk up and lambaste cops that way, you know, even though they may deserve it sometimes. They may deserve, a lot of them deserve it most of the time for taking people to dungeons, right? But it's not typically how I interact. I remember that video's been sitting on my phone for almost 2 years. Year and a half. It's been on my phone for about 2 years. So a little less than a year and a half. So, but you know, we have to follow through and you have to file a complaint when the police don't show their badge. And so I printed this up and I may even flyer this entire parking lot right here. I may flyer this entire parking lot right here. I may put flyers on all the police cars of this guy's picture who didn't ID himself when I asked him to ID himself. Because the thing is that what police do is they stick your picture on Facebook if you've been arrested. Did you know that? All throughout the South, through the southern states, if you get arrested, the police put your mugshot on Facebook and announce that you've been arrested. I mean, how good is that? How good is that? How good is that? Is that what you want to happen? Is that what you want to happen? I don't think that's what you want to happen. So look, you know, you have to be willing to follow through on things. If you're not willing to follow through, then you're not really doing a service to anybody. So, you know, I have to go to the exact same cop shop that this guy works with and file a complaint with his buddies. It's his buddies. These are the guys I just met are friends with that guy who I just gave them a picture of. You understand that, right? The two guys who I just met that I was very respectful to, right? They are friends with the guy who didn't ID himself. Did you guys see that, right? They're friends, they're buddies, they hang out. They go to each other's barbecues. Remember, cops typically only hang out with cops. So when you file a complaint on a cop at the same agency that he works at, those guys work together. When they go to barbecues, how many cops are at your barbecue? 0. They don't come. They don't want to come. They don't want to be subjected to your cousin who got arrested last year and is pissed at cops. Cops go to cop barbecues. Cop go to cop baby showers. Cop go to cop weddings. You understand? So the guy who I'm filing a complaint on here at this particular place, he's friends with the guys who came out and said, how you doing? What's your name? I don't know his name and badge number. As soon as they saw the picture of the guy, they recognized him. They know him. They're friends with him. Whose side are they on? Are you on your friend's side? If your brother does something stupid and gets in a fist fight and he throws the first punch, he was wrong for throwing the first punch. Do you still help him? Of course you do. Of course you do. Of course you do. So but the whole thing is that this police station here and every other police station should be held accountable to the rule of law. Rule of law. It's everything. Rule of law is everything. Without rule of law, your mom can't go to the grocery store without someone conking her over the head. Really. You think that you're good because you're good, right? And this is an atheist perspective. I was an atheist for 20 years, right? So an atheist perspective is you're good because you're good. You know, I was an atheist. You're not good because you're good, right? You're good because you care about your mom and your sister and your brother.
Hey, we have a hard copy for you to fill out.
Thank you.
There's a continuation form also if you have more.
Thank you.
Right on there. I also emailed you the exact same copy in a PDF.
Okay.
In case you need to do it online or you choose to do it online, you aren't able to do it.
At least you guys have a form, which is a lot of places that don't have a form. At least you guys have a form. And at least you guys came out and you weren't dicks. You guys were cool.
There's no reason.
You guys were cool. I mean, you and I look like we could be. I mean, look at this guy. He looks like we could be related. Look at him. He looks like a cousin or an uncle. One of my workout buddies, right? Only difference is I don't take people to the dungeon. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you guys deal with that? Someone calls on a domestic violence and you have to take the guy to jail, right? There's no marks on her, but you have to take him to jail. How do you reconcile that when he has to go to the dungeon and you know the dungeon is you guys know. I don't gotta tell you, the dungeon's like a horrible. How do you reconcile that when you go home? When you're like, I took this guy to the dungeon, there was no marks on the chick, she said he pushed her.
Well, unfortunately, these are tough decisions we have to make throughout the course of our jobs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It really puts us in a bad spot sometimes.
Yeah, because if I came to your house, you guys have no idea how likable these two cops are, right? This is a crazy interaction because these are likable dudes. So, but the thing is like, how do you guys reconcile though? How do you go home and be like, I took a guy to a dungeon where he's going to be strip searched. Now, if you pull out your junk right here in front of me, bro, and he and I start examining it, you're going to feel very uncomfortable. So, like, how do you go to sleep realizing that shit,
No, I understand.
How do you deal with the?
I mean, like I said, these are tough decisions that we have to make every day, and under the rule of law, we're required to enforce.
Under the rule of law, sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Unfortunately, domestic violence laws are very specific, and we have to abide by those. Unfortunately, it does force our hands sometimes. Unfortunately, it does.
You agree, though, the dungeon is, it's pretty bad, dude.
There's some things that need to be improved.
It's like,
absolutely.
If you decide to arrest me right now, which you can do, by the way, you can just decide to arrest me, and then later we could take it out in court. But I have to go to the dungeon, right? How do you I could never do what you do. I could never decide that I'm gonna. Look how burly you are, bro. Look at Gipper, dude. Look at Gipper. Look at this guy. This guy's burly. This guy looks like a guy I've worked out with my whole life, right? If I gotta pin your wrist behind your back, brother, you're gonna be in severe pain in about 5 minutes.
It hurt a little bit.
With the build like yours, you're built like I am. It hurts in 5 minutes because I got the bone spurs from lifting too much, and you can get them removed, but the surgery process is such a bitch. So as soon as you pin my wrist behind my back, I'm in just excruciating pain, and the wrists hurt tremendously, but then the shoulders, that bone spur poking through, oh, it kills me, dude. It kills me. And before this camera phone, dude, I was arrested a lot because just because you're a cop doesn't mean you're right. You're making a mistake. And I've told them that, and then I got arrested for disorderly conduct, later dropped. But I still had to take the ride, brother. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's absolutely why we have a complaint process, though.
Yeah, they got a complaint form. I got to give them credit. They got a complaint form. It's right here. And then, and what's my transparency on this and following through so that I know that actually something happened?
So that's why I gave you an electronic version as well.
Right.
This form is made in a way that as soon as we get this form, we can either scan it or use the electronic version, send that to our internal investigations, and they immediately open up a number and
Okay.
assign it to somebody. And then once it's assigned, you're notified of that.
You know, and like I'm not a blazing. No, I'm pretty hardcore. But at the same time, it shouldn't be. The guy should have to spend a day interacting with the public, and you know, we should start a program. Because listen, I don't respect what you guys do at all. You know, I'm being honest. I have no respect for what you do. I think it's horrific what you do. Really, I truly think it's horrible, right? And I'm very honest about it. But the problem is that we don't have any relationship anymore. Like you and I look at each other, bro. Dude, I'll be honest. I like you right off the bat, brother. I like you as a human being. I look at this guy. I want to be his friend, right? You guys look at him. He's cool as fucking shit. This guy's cool. You want to be his friend, right? And then you realize he puts handcuffs on people and takes them to a dungeon. And you're like, how do we start to get to a place where we realize that fentanyl is the number one killer of all man in America? Drugs are the number one killer. When do we stop the strip searches? Because when do we stop the strip searches?
That's something I can't answer.
When do you guys say we checked him for what?
I can honestly, I don't know about you, but I can honestly say I've never strip searched anybody.
Yeah.
No, but you take them to the dungeon and you immediately get strip searched.
What they do,
They strip search.
I've never seen a strip search, but I'm sure they probably do.
Oh, let me tell you about it. They get like 6, 8 guys. And if you're a bodybuilder like me, then they start to make comments about your body, and they look up the crack of your bottom, and then they say cough. And then they say, oh, do it again. And they kind of ridicule you. Some will smack you on the ass sometimes just to let you know that they're in control of you.
Doesn't sound enjoyable.
It's horrific. But what I'm saying is like, can't we just pat people down? You know, pat them down. They don't got any metal unless it's metal shoved up their backside, right? Then just, you know, there's no gun on him. There's no knife. Put him in, right? Because this is the part where I can't sleep. I don't know how you could do it.
Well, and unfortunately, we don't see that other half.
You don't even see it.
We'll take them to the jail, we'll book them, and then after that, unfortunately, we don't see that.
We should do a program where we arrest some cops, volunteer, and then we don't tell the jailers that they're cops, and you guys get to go through the experience of what it's like to go through the dungeon process. And once you go through it, brother, you might not want to be a cop anymore, realizing that you took them down to a dungeon. It's a hellhole. Why do you think I'm a constitutional scholar now? I got no-knock graded by the cops 20 years ago, and I've never stopped studying. I can't stand it. Because I'm a wrestler. You know, you're how many guys can hold you down? Not very many, right? You're not going to hold me down. And so when you get held down against your will, using the color of law, then you're like, oh, man. But listen, I got nothing but love for you guys, man. I really hope that you guys can find another career as soon as humanly possible, retire from this, get out of this job. Because half the people hate you. I mean, just hate your... I'm right there. Like, if you guys weren't cool, we were standing in front of a cop shop, I would not be nice to you because of what you do to people. But you don't even know what you do to people. You don't even know what happens at the dungeon.
But we haven't experienced it.
You've never experienced the dungeon.
Because we don't do it.
They've never experienced the dungeon. They've never... Look at this guy. Built like a fucking brick shit house. You can't see it, but he's thick too. He's thick. This dude's thick and big. 6'5"? 6'2", and he's huge. He's huge. This guy's huge. I'm an MMA fighter. He'd be a whole handful. Just him alone. Him, I would probably get worked, right? So, like, have you had your handcuffs put behind your back?
I have.
You've been put in handcuffs. And so
I've had children.
Tight? You've had it tight? So don't you guys think it's inhumane upon suspicion a Terry stop? Overturned Terry v. Ohio is my shirt, right? Don't you guys think it's inhumane to put... You come up, my girlfriend and I are screaming at each other because she's a bitch. Sorry. And we're screaming at each other. And you come up and you're going to, you're going to put me in handcuffs because I'm a burly dude like you guys. And then do you realize that you're torturing me?
Well, we have protocols in place to additional handcuffs that people have.
But you're not going to put them on me, dude. I've never had it. Right. And my shoulders are impinged. You realize you're torturing me, right? Like, you realize I'm in, like, not only do my wrists hurt, my shoulders hurt. My shoulders are, look at it. Come on, bro. How many days a week you hitting the gym? Come on.
Enough.
You're hitting the gym, dog. Look at these guys. These guys are freaking huge. I would not want to fight either one of them. I trained MMA 20 years with the best in the world, so I'm really cocky when it comes to a fight. Nah, dude, nah. These two guys have whooped my ass, two of them together. So you realize you're torturing me though. The moment that you come up, my girlfriend's screaming because I'm a dick, she's not a bitch, and then you're gonna torture me now.
It's certainly not on our intention, right? We have protocols in place to prevent as much as we can.
Would you be for the idea of changing the detention process to a digital detainment where you walk up to me and say, sir, you're screaming at your girlfriend, look into my camera and agree to be detained. I agree to be detained. That's it. I got gray in my hair. I agree to be detained. I don't have a criminal record.
I can't say I've ever heard of that before. So
would you be open to it?
I'd have to hear more about it.
I mean, do you think that I would want to fight you two guys?
I mean,
if they didn't have guns and sticks and tasers, would I still want to fight you two guys? Do you think I would want to fight you? I mean, I'm sure you get drunk assholes who want to fight. I get that. But typically, you know.
We don't know who anybody is. You don't know who we are until we have this information.
Until we have a talk.
Right.
Until we have a talk. But I just, you guys should, we listen, as much as I can't stand your profession, can't stand it, like I really hate it, right? We should try to figure out a way right here in Arizona to change it so that we can tolerate you guys. Really. Because once you're put in cuffs once, even on a domestic where you cuff him up and then that poor girl that got murdered, but you cuff him up and you look at her, there's nothing, and then you take the cuffs off of him. When you leave him after 10, 15 minutes, he hates you. He literally is thinking to himself, I don't like her anymore because she called the cops on me, but I hate the cops. Do you see what I'm saying? And then you create an enemy out of a guy that you got there and you realize she's nuts. She's nuts. She smashed his things, right? And then you created a guy like me, who I can't stand being held down, bro. Oh, I can't stand it. I can't. If you can hold me down and earn it, dude, I'll stand up and high five you. I'll be like, dude, you can hold me down. You're a badass. Because I know how tough I am. But I don't respect it if you put me in handcuffs. You know, and this is why I'm just having these talk with you guys, you know what I mean? This complaint form is important that we file a complaint against this guy and that he's held accountable for not following the rule of law. But I'm just talking about in general, you guys have never been to the dungeon and you've never been put in handcuffs?
I've been putting handcuffs.
You've been putting, you have? Hands behind your back? You stick them on tight? You stick them on tight like you just called me and my mama and I put them on tight?
Practice.
Tight?
Practice, yeah.
You done that? And then you had to leave them behind your back for an hour?
For an hour, no.
Handcuff you to a
As
bench?
you can see, I have big wrists, and so my
Oh,
wrists
dude.
get bloody when I practice with handcuffs. So.
Dude, this guy's gnarly. He's got the fist. He's got the scars on his fists. This guy's a fighter, dude. You would not want to fight this guy. You're not in real life with him. You would not want to fight him if you saw him in real life, dude. You would not. You would not. I fought Ken Shamrock. I fought Guy Metzger. I fought the best in the world in their fight camps. So I know tough. That fucker's tough. Anyway, listen, I don't want to take up your whole day, but I want you guys to think about these things and start to create maybe, I'll give you all my information. We could start an outreach program where we start a policy where we change the detainment process for people. You walk up on them. Dude, if you said to me, Chille, you're under arrest. You got to come with me. Okay, I agree to go with you. That's it. I just looked at his body camera and I say, okay, I agree to go with you. I'm not going to assault you. Okay. Dude, why can't it be that? Why can't it be that? Now, I get you're going to get assholes. You're like, no, fuck you, I'm not going, right? But if you tell me, dude, you know, you're in this horrible, your wife's bleeding, you got to come with me. And then you got a video of my face. There's no getting away. What was that girl's name? Gabby? Gabby, who got murdered by her boyfriend on the street, on the road. He wasn't getting away. Once you hurt someone in this America, you're caught. You know it. You put my face out on that right there, screenshot. Why can't we do it different?
That's a good question.
I mean, I know you guys like to mix it up. All cops like to fight and be violent. All of them. Read all 3 police commissions. All 3 police commissions say the same thing. Cops are violent and they like to fight. Look, I mean, you guys are not built like you're passive little sissies. I'm just saying, can we do it different?
The dialogue would be certainly interesting to hear.
Can we do it different? I mean, can we talk about doing it different? Do you guys have any power here? Is it all sheriff power here, or is it Highway State Patrol power too?
But this isn't under the sheriff. This would be under the director of the Department of Public Safety.
You're under the director of the Department of Public Safety. Who's the director of public safety?
Heston Silbert.
What is it?
Heston Silbert.
Heston Silbert. Look up Heston Silbert. Heston Silbert. And he's the director of
Department of Public Safety.
Department of Public Safety in Arizona. Let's see if we can get a meeting with Heston, because this shit has to change, right? It has to change. it's so bad that my whole life is dedicated now to changing this. That's all I do. People send me money, they buy my poster, they buy my stuff, and this is all I'm gonna do for the rest of my life until this changes. Because you shouldn't have to have the, I mean, hopefully you got those when you were young and you just like to fight. I love fighting. I love fighting. Don't you love fighting? I love fighting, bro. He can't admit it. He loves fighting. This guy, wrist the size of a fucking gorilla. Oh, I'm racist. No, he's not black. Okay, I can call him a gorilla. I'll let you guys go. Fist bump for your politeness. I can't promise I'll be nice to you if I see you in the streets, but I can be polite in these interactions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you guys, and you got to think about going to the dungeon, bro. Go watch someone be booked. Go watch.
That's honestly a good suggestion. That's something we should consider.
They touch my fingers. They make me roll my fingers across the thing. Then if I move in any way, shape, or form because I'm built, then he's resisting, and there's 6 people on top of me. Whoa, I can roll my finger across myself, dude. You know, I teach constitutional law. I can get my finger across a glass surface. You know, and it's horrible. I want you guys to, you training cops?
Yes.
They should have to see what it's like to be strip searched. They should have to go watch a man drop trowel and bend over and his backside be looked up. Because to me, bro, that's still the part, you can see that I can feel the tone in me change. That is the worst thing in the world. Considering that the number one way that drugs are gonna come in the jail is through the jailer. But you gotta look up a dude's back. I mean, maybe he just likes to fight and he just wants to be in this because you do get to rough people up as a cop. You do. It's pretty regular. You guys read the Mullen Commission?
I'm sorry?
Have you read the Mullen Commission?
I have not.
M-O-L-L-E-N. I have it. You have my contact. I'll give it to you for free. You guys should read the Mullen Commission, and then let me ask you guys, maybe I'll blur your face and ask you, is this still going on? Read it. All the people who follow me have a copy of it. You guys should read it. And you get a real insight to what's going on inside of, because none of you guys know what police do until you've read the Mullen. Not a single one of you. The auditors, all these people who do these things. No, you don't know anything. Read the Mullen. 3-year study on cops and what they do and how it works and the blue wall of silence. And you guys, I mean, I hope you guys aren't just like fucking demons underneath a nice looking face here. You know what I'm saying? Because like if you're a human being and you get what I'm putting down, then you're gonna understand that what I'm saying it takes a guy like me who has all the talent. I can go be an executive for any company. From marijuana to technology, I can run a company. I make $250,000 a year every year. And instead I do this, right? My goal should be what? Capitalism. My goal should be make as much money as I can so I can have chicks rolling, right? Chick goes crazy, calls the cops on me. I get a new one, right? That's because I'm single and I'm, right? You remember the old meme? I once was a man who asked a girl to marry him, and then he lived happily ever after. He saw all the hockey games he wanted, dated tons of young hot chicks, and then he died happy, right? That's what I should be doing, right? Executive in Hollywood, I should be. But instead, I'm here talking to,
Well, dialogue is good. Okay.
Let me know if we can set up something bigger to talk about digital detainment right here in Arizona. Could you imagine that?
I can't.
You can't imagine? You think everybody...
I can't imagine it just because, as you know, let me ask you a question. Is there any time that you would say that anybody needs to have handcuffs on?
In the current form, absolutely not. There's better ways to do it with Velcro straps where you could strap someone up really easily without having to ever pin their wrist behind their back. I'm talking about, so I've designed them already. Velcro straps, one cop puts it on, another cop puts it on, another cop puts it on. You're a hot dog. You're a hot dog, especially with the size of you guys. You only need 4 Velcro straps and the guy's completely wrapped up. You don't need to get me with like my wrist behind my back and your knees in the back of my neck. Do people need to be grabbed sometime? Do they need to be taken down? You bet your ass.
Do we always need to innovate? Do we always need to look at ways that we can do things?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. And so
Yeah.
if you have ideas like that work and detain
4 straps,
somebody,
dude. 4 straps.
and that's an awesome thing.
4 straps.
Put that out there.
No, so the people who follow me, they know we need cops. I don't want to kill anybody. The guy who took hostages in California, someone has to kill him. He has to die. I don't like it. He's a psycho. He has to die. We need cops to kill people. But then we need a third party over the top of cops to monitor what cops do. The current budget in LA, crime is so bad. Really? How's the budget being spent? I'd like to see that before I say crime is so bad. What are you doing with that budget? Are you putting it in the right places? 'Cause I don't think you are. It's a long play. We took $30 million from cops. Now, look, there's crime everywhere. Where are you stationing your people? How is it being ran? We don't have a third party overseeing it. So how's it going in LA? Like dog. Like dog. It's going terrible. Yeah, sometimes the guy got to be tackled down and he's got to get put down and held down and strapped up. Yes. I'm for rule of law, brother. You hit him in the face and you won't settle down, we have to take you down. Whether it be a group of citizens or cops, you got to go down. You can't go around knocking people out. Who are you? You can't hit him in the face and knock him unconscious and then continue. No, dude, you got to go down. That's the whole thing that you guys don't, I mean, it's not rule of law anarchy. No, it's rule of law respected with transparency. If there was one organization over you guys with a camera, where you went, there would be 100 of the abuse. 100. Am I wrong?
Cameras definitely.
It's changed everything, dude. I used to get arrested.
That's actually why we wear cameras.
I used to get arrested, dude. You know how many times I've been arrested? 20, 30 times. No criminal record. 20 or 30 times I've been taken to a dungeon. I think I have a minor consuming from 18. I got riding a jet ski after dark. That's like on my record. I didn't get them, but I've been charged with it. Before this camera phone. So listen, I want to make it bigger. If you have any sense, bro, and you're a police trainer, I want to make it bigger. I don't want to hate your guts, dude. I don't want to see you drive down the road and think, what a piece of shit.
We don't want that.
I don't, but I feel that way. I don't want to feel that way about you when I have this interaction with you guys, and you guys are not only extraordinarily charismatic, but you seem pretty kind right now. So I want to change the policies that will allow me to respect you. I want to respect you. I want to say, I'm calling the cops, the neighbor's beating his wife, and I feel very good about doing this. Because not only are the cops going to come, a third party's going to come that's filming the cops. Not me or some auditor, a guy following you in a yellow jacket that risks his life the same as you are, and he's not on your team. He's making sure that you're not going to hurt anybody. Because we've seen, there's not 1 or 2 police videos, there's 20,000, 20 million police videos of how well's raiding people's houses going. What are we doing here? It's not working out. The drugs are just as bad, the prostitution, the child pornography. It's all terrible. It's horrifically the worst. So how good's raiding people's houses going? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I was no-knock raided by police with Uzis. Lasers in my eyes, dude. And how good's it going?
Yeah.
And now my career is to try to get transparency on police. I hope we can get it going, dude. You got my number.
Well, I have your information, absolutely.
You have my information, right? And then I'll fill this out digitally because I want to make my penmanship's not going to be very good because I'm not classically smart.
If you do it digitally, there's more space to type.
There's more space to type it in. Dude, we should get a workout in, brother. We should get a workout in. Could you actually work out with someone who's not a cop? Because, okay. Because don't cops just hang out with cops?
No, not usually.
Not all of us.
We try to have normal lives.
Yeah?
It's not like New York or Boston where we have bars and going down.
It's not like that.
Right. It's different here.
It's a lot different. So we do. Obviously, we have friends within the force, but we try to be normal.
Dude, I'll come in and talk to your cadets and explain to them that when you decide to put the bracelets on someone, a nice way to say torture cuffs, right? That when you take him to the dungeon, his whole life and his opinion of you will change forever. You're the guy that dropped him off at this place. You're the guy that took him there. And then he got raped and he got beat up and he got strip searched. The strip search is the worst part. Anyway. All right. Well, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. All right. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
All right.
And let me give you your pin back as well.
Oh,
I'm not
appreciate
gonna, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time. I really do. Thanks for sitting out here and listening to me bloviate. I just really want to. I really want to change shit. I don't want this to continue. You guys can't tell. I'm cool as the other side of the pillow. I'm good with chicks. I'm good with dudes. I'm good with everybody, bro. And I have to literally just see you guys as the demons that ruin everything. No one's afraid of anybody else on the road until you pull behind me. Then I'm scared.
And you don't have to see us that way. You have to until somebody changes your mind.
Until we change the system as it is, I'm gonna have a hard time with cops. Because at any moment, there's just so many things that can go bad for me as a human being just interacting with you. just interacting with
But
you.
as you see, you interacted with us, and nothing like that.
Yeah, but we're all cool dudes, man. We're all, and you guys can see I'm not a threat. I'm not coming, hey, motherfucker, right? You know, I'm being a rational, normal person. But imagine if I just gotten out of cuffs, I'd be here just fuming. I'd put me in cuffs. I want his head. I want his...
Well, hopefully, one interaction at least at a time can help mend that problem. It will never fix it. Hopefully, this interaction helps to change it a little bit.
Tell me your name and badge number.
Sergeant Devin Grigg, Bank 650.
And what's your name and badge number, sir? 7249. So listen, these guys were really respectful and they were really kind and really cool. So there are some cool cops, but the policies they sign up to do are horrific. So I hope you guys, man, dude, you guys are young enough. You got your 20 years in yet?
I'm about 4 years away.
I mean, get the fuck out, dude. You seem like a cool dude, man. You seem like a cool guy. Are you 20 yet?
Not quite. I'm a little behind him.
I mean, this is a better life, dudes. Or help institute change. We get a third party so that then people can respect cops again.
That's not a bad one.
And also, you don't want the good cops to be the ones that quit and go get another career. You want the good cops to keep them.
You haven't read the Mullen Commission. Read the Mullen Commission about good cops. Read it. Read the NAP. Read the Wickersham Commissions. I've read them all. Good cops are drummed out, put to the side, demoted, fired, let go. Their voices are silenced. There's so many bad cops doing bad things that the good cops, when they see the bad, because they brutalized someone else on a previous stop, then they may not turn in that bad cop because all I gotta do is give you a snap, beat this guy a little too hard, and then I got something on you for the rest of your career. And this is all through the Mullen Commission and all through the Wickersham Commission that the good cops are immediately drowned out by the bad cops. If you turn in Geppert here, I'll put a rat on your windshield tomorrow. And this is in the Mullen Commission. I'll put a rat on your, and if you go to a new station, he'll call ahead and tell 50 people that you're a rat. This is, I mean, you guys know the blue wall of silence. I mean, you don't got to play like you're dumb to me. You guys know the blue wall of silence. Both of you do.
We've all seen the movies, you know. But,
No, not movies.
But I can
Commissions.
but I can tell you, that's not how we roll. So it's not how we roll.
All right. Dude, if you call me, I'll do anything you want.
Well, I've got your email address.
I'll do anything you want if you want to work on trying to make it better. Change. Not the same old, I don't want to freaking ride along. Okay, I've already done it, right? I want change. I want a cop who wants to institute change.
Actual dialogue.
Change, not the dialogue, change. Where we go, you know what? If there was only a third-party organization that just followed us and filmed us and they got the body cam footage, boy, that would just change things. Since you said you're a good cop and you're a good cop, right? Then you don't want these assholes going in someone's house and beating them up. You don't want that. Because then he leaves and that guy tells his mom, his brother, his best friend, his lover, and you guys are the horrifically bad demons that everybody doesn't like again. We need change, brother. I don't hate you as a human being. I hate what you do. You understand that? I don't look at you and think, oh my God, he doesn't want to eat food and he doesn't love somebody. You know, I don't think that. Even though I'm pretty mean to cops, you know, I just want it to change. So if you want to do anything and set up a dialogue and start a talk, dude, I will do it with you, and I'll hold my nose and deal with some of the nasty people you work with, just to get through some kind of change. Anything you want, as long as it's change, not the same. Dialogue doesn't do anything. We have a platform is a set of agendas with an actionable plan. That's what a platform is. I have a platform. A platform with a set of agendas with an actionable plan. That's what a platform. People say, I got a platform. No, you got 100,000 followers because you're good looking. You don't have a platform. You're showing your ass. You look great. God bless, guys. Later. Thank you. All right. So you guys got to see, and now we'll file the complaint online. There's no point in sitting out here. We have the dialogue that we want to have. We want actual change. You know, sorry, when cops are being polite to me, you know, and we're having a dialogue, I don't like to throw the camera in their face. You know, I don't like to take the camera and shove it in the guy's face. If he's violating someone's rights or there's a pullover going on, then of course, yes, I will absolutely take the camera and stick it right in their face. But as long as they're being respectful like that, you know, and we're having a fair back and forth and a dialogue. And you know, look, I'm not going to change my stripes just because I meet a couple of cool cops. I'm not going to change any stripes until we actually get to a place where things change. You don't want the same old dog and pony show of, oh yeah, we got a civilian review board. We got a civilian review board put together, and on the civilian review board is the chief of police, right? And that's what we get all the time. You know, we got a civilian review board, and on the civilian review board is the head of the council, of the city council. And the head of the city council, what they do is they find excuses as to why the city shouldn't have to pay for what happened to you. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about legitimate change. And the only legitimate change that I am on board with is a third-party autonomous agency that has subpoena power and arresting power over police only, not over citizens. That creates checks and balances on power. I'm actually gonna get a model and I'm gonna break it apart. I'm gonna show you guys a model of what policing needs to be. I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna do it tonight because I absolutely want things to change. I want things to change. A citizen review board is just garbage. It's just absolute, total and complete garbage. It really is. You would have to have been down the road. So I'll give you a good example. Tina Slay Richardson, even though she betrayed me and she lied, and that's okay. It's all gonna come out. You're in trouble, girl. But you won't get in trouble as long as you tell the truth. So, but the point is though, is her son, Caleb Slay, who was murdered by the police, they have a citizen review board in Springfield, Missouri. They have a citizen review board there, and at the head of the citizen review board is the chief of police. You understand what I'm saying to you? Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't have a civilian review board with any police on it. You can't have a civilian review board without subpoena power and arresting power. Don't waste my time. Don't waste my time with stupidity and the same old broken record. Don't waste my time. Don't tell me you're going to start another thing without autonomy. A third-party agency with total and ubiquitous autonomy. That is how you change things. A third party whose goal is to arrest you for violating the rule of law. Not wrongdoing. You'll be charged with assault. You'll be charged with battery. You'll be charged. If you're not passionate about it, you haven't been to the dungeon. You haven't been to the dungeon if you're not passionate about it. You go to the dungeon once or twice, like I've been 20 times. You get strip searched 20 times. And then come to me and tell me a civilian review board is going to be good for the cop that wrongfully arrested you. And he did have to take a day off work. Meanwhile, you got a stick shoved up during that strip search and it scarred you for life. You think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding and I'm not joking. So until we, and like what did I say earlier? When I was talking about Democrats and Republicans earlier, I said that liberals have to stop calling people on the right racist because they have to work with those people to change the racist laws. I said that in this exact live cast. People have to hold their nose and work with cops to change things. Cops will not change unless we work with them to change. Does that make sense? I have to work with the police who I don't like to create change. Does that make sense? The left pushed me away. The girl from BLM, Utah called me a racist. Where did I go? I went to the right. Because I'm a political person and I need political people to cause and institute change. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So I just wanted to be clear with what absolutely has to happen. We have to have an infusion of change. You follow me? We cannot, you guys know, you've seen the videos I put out. I cannot stand cops. I can't stand them. I have to work with cops to change policing. I have to work hand in hand with people who teach others how to put handcuffs on people behind their back. And did you see when he said, do you think there's some people should be handcuffed? I said, no, they should not. They should not. I developed a 4-strap system of Velcro straps. Just imagine 4 straps of Velcro. They're 12 to 18 inches wide, and they're super strong Velcro. And they're 4 feet long. And it only takes 2 or 3 cops to wrap it around you before the third cop puts another wrap on you, and you are wrapped up with those 3 or 4 pieces of Velcro. And oh, by the way, if you have a cop like one of these guys, they can hem him up from behind while you strap him up. You don't need to cuff his back, cuff his hands behind his back and rip open his wrists and hurt him in the process, because obviously he's not doing things the right way if he's in this position with cops. If you guys haven't noticed, and I want to point this out, when I speak to police, no matter if they've pulled me over or I'm auditing, even if I'm knocking on the cop's window, knock, 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 I'm going slow. Excuse me, officer, excuse me. And when the cop asks me for my ID, I'm gonna get my ID for you. Give me 1 second. I always go slow with police. Always. Watch me always. Every time I interact with a cop, I'm going slowly. Because I don't want to be shot or arrested for no reason. If you're going to arrest me, welcome to a 1983, because you're violating my rights. You see? You see? So we have to work with the same cops that we don't like to institute change in America. If that cop calls me back, Sergeant Drake, and he wants to have a powwow about creating something for change, I will meet Sergeant Drake anytime, anywhere, any place. And I will work hand in hand with these cops to institute the change that has to happen. Just like the left has to stop calling the right racist, there's only been 5 executives who are black in the history of America. As you know, the legislature writes the law. The executive of the state or the executive of the country signs the law into effect. The Supreme Court, their only functionality, just in case you didn't know, is to determine whether or not a law is constitutional or not. If it violates those first 10 civil liberties and then any civil rights that have been passed in amendments after that. And so far, because it's an unelected Supreme Court, it's been an abysmal failure since the beginning, going all the way back to 1803 Marbury versus Madison. Okay? The reason I learned these things is because I care. The reason why I know them off the top of my head is because I care. I'm putting up on my suggestions all kinds of videos for you guys to watch. Educate yourselves. Educate yourselves. Don't ever be in a position where you're ignorant, where you don't know what's going to happen next. Ever. Not with the law. It's all written down for you. If you haven't read the 10th Amendment, then you don't even know what the laws of America are. I'm just keeping it real. I don't got time for fake nonsense. I don't have time for fake BS. This is my whole life. I do nothing else until this is changed. You guys reach down, take your thumb and hit the like button. Hit your like button, it's right there. See that thumbs up thing right down there? If you guys will just reach down and hit your thumbs up button, it means a lot to me and the channel. Thanks for the super chat. I didn't even see it come in. I appreciate that. I don't know who sent that to me, but thank you. I appreciate it. Listen, I'll let you guys go. You know, if you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to DM me. Send me an email to deletelaws@gmail. It's just the same name, just at Gmail. I got a lot of requests right now. I'm probably about 60 or 70 emails that are waiting for me to send off free posters and free ebooks. Yeah, I'll send you guys off free posters and free ebooks. Someone told me Vista Print printed up his poster for $15. So yeah, and if you guys can drop $1 or $2 when I send you a free poster, do it. Because I'm starting the TAC coin. I'm starting it now. It's happening right now. We are in the process of starting TAC coin now. And I'm gonna spend every dollar or dime that you give to me on making sure TAC coin gets going so that we have a funding apparatus that all these people are missing. Listen, I wanna go to Oklahoma. I'm gonna go and challenge John Kavanaugh on Scottsdale Community College campus. I'm gonna go challenge John Kavanaugh directly, right? But I wanna make sure that there's a fund set up, that it has a decentralized autonomous organization so that we can get you out of jail if your civil rights are violated, and then fight the power through that fund. Do you see? Thanks for the super chat. I appreciate it. You see, because there's more of you than there is of me. There's more persons of justice out there than there are tip of the spear auditors, constitutionalists, civil libertarians. There's more of you than there is of me. So that means that every single time someone sends me $1 or $2, what we do is we create the TAC coin, the TAC token. So that if you go to jail in Illinois, if you go to jail in Florida, you can get on the TAC token and go, hey, there's an auditor who went to jail in Illinois and he's already a part of the app. And then we just simply click a button and the kitty of the 18% bails him out. And then we send out a request to every single TAC user. His bail was $880. You get a notification. Will you pitch in 11 cents for the auditor who was arrested in Illinois? That's how we get there. That's how we crowdfund. And then that 11 cents that comes in, it replenishes the kitty of the 18% that comes off the top of the initial TAC coin, TAC token buy-in. It's just like Bitcoin, but it's TAC token, Terry Auditor coin. Because the only way we change this is if we fight the power with money and legislation. You are not going to fight those guys. Those guys would have whooped me, guys. They would have whooped me. Those two dudes would have whooped me. They were big and they were in shape. Those guys could fight. The guy had scars all over his knuckles. He was tough. That guy was tough. I wouldn't want to fight either one of them individually, let alone both of them. What I'm trying to say to you is a guy who's fought MMA his whole life, wrestled, grapples, teaches fighting to people, right? I can't fight the power. We can't fight them physically. We have to fight them through legislation with money, where we have a fund set up so that if you go to jail and it's streamed and we see that your rights were violated, we get you out and we sue that cop under a 1983. Okay? So there it is. There it is. Thanks for your support, you guys. I really appreciate it. We're just going to keep going. We're just going to keep going. We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on going. I'm actually heading to a toy store right now. I'm going to a toy store because I'm going to lay out for you guys what a third-party agency does and how we don't have to defund police entirely to create a third-party agency that works in conjunction with liberty. I'm going to a toy store right now because the props I built in LA are still in LA. So I'm going to go buy the necessary props to illustrate to you guys exactly what a third-party agency can and will do, and it will happen. It will happen. When I talked to those cops in LA and I was ripping them a new bunghole, right? I was tearing those cops apart. I told them, oh yeah, it's happening. It's happening now. It is. It is. We are assembling here under your First Amendment right, and we are going to petition again under your First Amendment right. And we are using freedom of the press to expose and show exactly what policing is in America. So, yeah, I'm fired up. I'm definitely fired up. And I can't wait to get, matter of fact, my buddy Tim, Tim and I talked last night for 40 minutes or so. I think something like that, Tim, we had 30 minutes or something like that. We had a nice conversation, right? There are people like Tim in this country who are so sick of this police state that he's willing to go to the mat. He's sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. Every 10 yards in Arizona, there's a cop posted up shooting a radar gun at you. We don't need that. We don't need it. No, don't remove qualified immunity. Overturn Terry versus Ohio, Jared. Watch the video, Overturn Terry versus Ohio, Jared. Watch qualified immunity versus Terry versus Ohio. Watch that video, Jared. It is not overturn qualified immunity. It's overturn Terry. Terry. Please stay focused, Jared. Please stay focused, sir. So someone just said in qualified immunity, and I said, no, Terry versus Ohio first. Then Carroll versus United States, 1925. Okay. Anyway, listen, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for letting me talk to you guys. I appreciate it. We press on. We press on. You guys, we press on. We never stop. We overturn Terry before everything. We have to have one message united to overturn Terry. That has to be the united message of all of us, or it doesn't work. That's why the left is so screwed. They're fractioned in a million different ways. That's why I'm glad I've gone right. because I'm going to work with people on the right to change this crap. All right. I'm going to go get something. I'm going to go to the toy store right now and go buy these props. And I'm going to show you guys what a third-party agency looks like. And I'm going to show you guys how to dramatically change policing, how to change it. And it's cheaper and easier and way more simple. So yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks for your time, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat, guys. Whoever threw in, I certainly appreciate it. We don't stop. That's it. Later, guys.